Hello, I'm back doing a video. I haven't done one of these in quite a while. I thought I'd wear something smart to do this, even though I'm at home with COVID at the moment, which is fun. I could be worse. I feel a lot better than I did. I thought I'd make a video just because I haven't done one in quite a while in regards to addiction and stuff like that. I did sort of make them every day at one point, but I felt like it might have been a bit of an overload of information and maybe not have reached the people it should have and stuff like that. And also I was sort of going through the process of writing my book and putting that out, which is currently being published and just waiting for that to be done. But it's a waiting game at the moment. But I just thought I'd make a video to sort of check in and talk a bit about, you know, addiction, which is kind of, yeah, the thing I like to talk about because it's important. And it's one of these things that has a huge stigma attached to it, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol. It's, you know, massive stigma. I was brought up really well. I had a lovely, caring family. I was very lucky to have that because the people I've met in my life, a lot of them don't have that. Don't have the support system. I did have that. The reason I became an alcoholic was not because of upbringing. It was not because of laziness. It was nothing to do with that. It was a mixture of mental health issues combined with ignorance. I had no idea that you could become bodily dependent on alcohol. I had no idea. I thought it was like smoking cigarettes. I thought, you know, I'll just stop when I want to. And I never understood it. I used to see people, I used to work in Tesco's in Tunbridge Wells, and I used to see people coming in who were alcoholics and kicking off if they couldn't get their drink past 10 o'clock. I remember saying as well, it's something karma, you need to be careful karma, because I was like, how can someone get addicted to a liquid? How does that work? And no word of a lie, about 3 months later, I was bodily dependent. And when you're bodily dependent, it means that if you stop drinking, it can be very dangerous because depending on how far along you are in the addiction, it can, coming off alcohol in the wrong way, if you're that addicted to it, it can be fatal. You have to get the help you need to come off alcohol correctly. You know, like I say, it is dependent on how far along you are. If you know, just get the shakes a bit and feel pretty rough for a couple of days, then you'll most likely be okay. But if you start hallucinating, usually that's the warning sign. That's kind of what happened to me first. I started hallucinating and then I was rushed to hospital by my mum and kept in for, I think it was about 5 days, but I was hallucinating for 3 days. That was the first time. And I thought I was going mad, like completely loopy. I didn't know it was anything to do with alcohol. I thought I just lost my mind. And I think so did my mum, to be honest. We just weren't sure what was going on. So that was delirium tremens. And what happens when you have delirium tremens is because your body is accustomed to a certain amount of alcohol that you've been feeding it, if you suddenly cut off that supply or don't have enough, your body will go into withdrawal. And I was having acute alcohol withdrawal. It would be something like half an hour between drink. If I didn't have a drink within like half an hour, I'd start withdrawing, which was a nightmare because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. Because every time I ate as well, I had this thing in my head, if I eat, it's going to soak up the alcohol, and I can't have that. So yeah, delirium tremens, it's nasty. It's really nasty. If you look it up on Google, you know, it's been for decades. It's been one of these things where people are like, how do we treat this? Basically, I think in the olden days, what they used to do was kind of strap you down and give you sort of thimblefuls of alcohol and get lower and lower throughout the night or the week or whatever. But now it is a combination of medication and care at hospitals and stuff. And they are fantastic at what they do. And they twice have gotten me into good condition to leave. And the only downside is occasionally the mental health support isn't there. And unfortunately, the reason, I drank was because of my mental health. I just did not want to live anymore. I didn't want to be here. I just thought, what is the point? I had all these memories that just hurt every day. And I was in a very codependent, well, it wasn't even a relationship, but I was in a codependent sort of, I felt for someone very dependently. And this person didn't feel the same. So for me, that was back then a massive thing. And it was like, it felt like I was dying. So I didn't want to be it. So I drank a lot. I drank sort of like 10 litres of cider a day, a litre of whiskey if I could afford it. And very quickly this time, this was about 2 years and 5 months ago. So that's how long I've been clean now, 2 years, 5 months. Very quickly it deteriorated this time. I was turning yellow at home, which was very odd because I could kind of see it happening. I could see it in my eyes and I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But it didn't really kick in until I got to hospital. But I remember because I kept going to hospital with my mum and they kept sort of saying, just go home, try and reduce your amount and stuff, when I really needed residential detox. That's what I needed. But, they can't always do it because sometimes there are people that are more in need. Which is, that's still the stigma, because people who are going through acute withdrawal from alcohol, they're very much in need. They can die if they don't get the right support. So, but, luckily this was before the COVID pandemic, obviously 2 years and 5 months ago. So nothing like that was happening. But I remember, we had a doctor visit the house because I was too ill to leave or get up. And they walked into my room and I remember I just had slashes all over me because I was cutting myself. Because I felt this way inside, but on the outside I kind of looked normal. So I remember I shaved my head, I slashed myself all over my body. And this doctor came in, there was just blood all over the sheets. There was like a bin full of blood where I'd been throwing up. And I'd was turning yellow. And she just went, get him to hospital now, I'll call ahead and make sure he gets seen and stuff. So they rushed me in and I'd done some damage to my liver and stuff like that. I was very lucky. But when I was there, the NHS staff were incredible. Don't get me wrong, they were amazing. There was one doctor who he came in, sort of poked me in the stomach and was like, you proud of yourself? Look what you're doing to yourself and stuff like that. So that's the one bad experience I've had through a doctor there. And he did come in and apologise afterwards because it really upset me. I felt I don't deserve to be treated like, no one deserves to be treated like that. I don't do this to myself because I enjoy it. This is because I'm very unwell and I can't. This is slow death. That's one thing people don't get is you're not drinking every day because you love getting drunk. You're drinking every day because you can't stand to have these thoughts in your head and you can't stand to be walking around feeling this way. So for me, I thought, I attempted suicide numerous times. And I failed at each one. And I thought, do you know what? If I can't do that, I'm going to drink myself to death because I can't deal with this anymore. And it was only when I got rushed to hospital that I realised I want to live. I was like, this isn't fun. This isn't how it's made out in films. This isn't rock and roll. This is horrible. This is the worst thing in the world. So I was in there for about 9 days in hospital. And honestly, the nurses and stuff, I can't say enough how incredible they were. They really were amazing. Made me feel happy to have such amazing nurses and doctors and stuff. Apart from that one doctor, but you're always going to get one that isn't 100% in any situation. And then I moved to Bridge House in Maidstone. I was there for about 8 days. That is a detox centre. They're incredible. They do amazing work and they save lives. And I went from there to Kenwood Trust, when a rehab facility. I was there for 3 months over fireworks night, Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, that sort of stuff. And it gave me all the tools I needed to finally live without it. And you know, I'm like anyone else. I get bad days when I feel shit and I don't want to do anything, and I feel like, is this even worth it? Am I doing the right thing? But at the end of the day, these sorts of feelings are natural and they'll pass. Everything is temporary, even pain, emotional pain anyway. And it does pass, and you know, that stormy day you had becomes exactly what a storm is. Something that is overhead for a matter of hours and then passes, and then the clouds clear and you can feel that warmth again and you can feel better. And that's, you know, that's what I try and tell myself when I feel down, is this will pass. You know, yesterday I had a bad day. I felt rubbish about myself. Felt like, oh, am I doing anything that's even worthwhile? I'm almost 30 and I don't know what I'm doing in my life. But it passed. I still kind of feel that way today, but it's not as intense. The clouds aren't as dark. Today is literally quite sunny outside, so that's put a smile on my face. But if you need help with addiction, reach out. Do not sit on your own. Do not feel bad for talking to someone, because the strongest thing you can do in that situation is ask for help. The strongest people I've ever met have been addicts. You know, they're dealing with life, which is hard enough. And on top of that, they're addicted to something, which they think is saving them from pain, when it's actually causing more pain than they'll ever understand. So for me, it was difficult. You know, my family would say to me, oh, call Samaritans and stuff when I felt down. And I never really did. And I regret that now. If you ever want to call Samaritans, I looked up their stuff online. I think there's a number you can call. It's 116-123. So call them. I hear they do incredible stuff. I think I called them once and they were so lovely and very caring and understanding. So they help with the mental health side. But the problem is, if you've got mental health issues and you're drinking or you're using, a lot of the time psychiatrists and stuff won't, or counsellors won't talk to you, because you have to be sober. This is the horrible routine. You know, get sober, then get help. It's a nightmare. But they got an email as well, which is J-O @samaritans.org. And that's to just, if you prefer to email and not talk on the phone, because a lot of people don't. I don't like talking on the phone that much. It kind of gives me anxiety and stuff. So I was looking for ages online for things to do with addiction to help. There needs to kind of be more support lines, like there is for Samaritans with mental health. There kind of needs that for addiction, but there isn't. But there are places you can go, you know, like talk to Frank. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a number for that. You just go on Google. It's the only thing to really do. If you are in Kent and you're struggling, you know, I used CGL, which is Change, Grow, Live in Tunbridge Wells, to help get me well. Obviously, the best thing to do is to go straight to addiction services, which are like CGL. It's the only real way you can get help if you're in, like for me, I'm in Tunbridge Wells at CGL. That's the hub. And their number is 0330 128 113. And if you don't want to talk on the phone, if that makes you anxious, you can email them, which is westkent.firststep@cgl.org.uk, and you can just speak to someone there doing that. And it won't be fixed straight away, but you'll be on the path to getting help. And that's the first thing. The first thing you need to do. And once you've done that, you are a warrior. You know, it's the biggest, strongest thing you can do is ask for help. So I just hope this reaches someone who's struggling, because I needed this when I was in that place. I felt so alone. Also, go straight to your GP, talk to your doctor, because they can correspond with the alcohol service and help you with medication if your anxiety is so bad because of the withdrawal and stuff like that, or just in general mental health help they can help with. I still take beta blockers, which help my anxiety because I've got severe anxiety, and And also this thing, I always tell people about this, they struggle with anxiety and withdrawal, it used to really help. But the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7, and you release with a whooshing sound for 8. It really helps if you're in that situation where you're really struggling to get your breath. Try it. I swear by it, to be honest. I use it sometimes when I'm in bed as well to get to sleep. Anyway, getting off the topic. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully this COVID leaves me this week. That'd be great. We're sending out a ton of love. And if you or anyone else you know, if you're watching, knows anyone who's struggling, I'm always here and I always want to talk to people because you're important, all right? You as a human who is struggling are important and you are valid, and how you feel, it does matter. So message me, let me know how you're doing. I'm always here and always want to talk. I like to listen. So, sending out tons of love. Mwah.